Hi, I'm Dr. K. Does losing weight feel like a struggle? Are you fed up with having to starve yourself when you're trying to lose weight and then frustrated that you're still not getting anywhere? In this video, I'm going to show you why you don't need to starve yourself to lose weight. And this is based on my experience running a weight loss clinic for the last 14 years, where I only see women over 40. In fact, as I often say to my clients, if you feel like you're starving yourself, we've taken a wrong turn somewhere. You don't need to feel like that. But first, let's talk about where most people go wrong. So about 12 years ago, I had a new client and it was her second ever session. And we were talking about what she was eating. And suddenly she leant forward in her chair quite earnestly and she said to me, "So when are you going to tell me to eat lettuce?" Here I was thinking that she'd be thrilled that I hadn't asked her to eat lettuce as part of her weight loss program. But no, from her point of view, she was thinking, it's the second session and he hasn't even mentioned lettuce yet. Which raises the question, well actually it raises a lot of questions, but the first two that come to mind are, why did she expect me to tell her to eat lettuce? And why didn't I ask her to eat lettuce? Well, first one, why did she expect me to tell her to eat lettuce? Well, it's because most people have been brainwashed to believe that weight loss means feeling deprived, starving, missing out, eating rabbit food. And it's not entirely random that they believe that. I remember a quote from Beyonce from several years ago, and I remember it because it was mentioned in an article I wrote. I don't just randomly write down everything Beyonce says, but she said that the way she lost her baby weight was running on a treadmill while eating rabbit food. This sort of weight loss advice, if you can call it that, affects people's perceptions then of what is required to lose weight. But then that brings us to the second question. Why didn't I tell my client to eat lettuce? Because if you've ever tried rabbit food diets, you'll know two things for sure. One, they're awful, they're unpleasantly depriving. And two, most importantly, because of the fact that they're awful, they're unsustainable. No one, not even Beyonce, wants to eat rabbit food all day. And yet here was this client asking me when was I going to ask her to eat lettuce, because she believed no self-respecting weight loss plan was complete without it. But I say to you, if you can't stick to a weight loss plan, is it a good weight loss plan? And this is where we come to a very important point, and it's worth remembering this. Weight loss is only successful if it's permanent. There's no point depriving yourself, starving yourself to lose weight, and then go back to normal eating and gain it all back a few days or weeks later. This is a waste of time, and it's not good for you. So what should you do instead? Okay, so I'm telling you, you don't need to starve yourself to lose weight. But most people's response at this point would be, yeah, that'd be great, but what do I do instead? And here's where I tell you that if you were my client sitting in the office in front of me or on Zoom, I tell you three things. One, allow yourself to eat whatever you want. As soon as you deprive yourself, you create more cravings for certain foods. And when you give in to those cravings and eat the foods that you're not allowed to, you'll think, I've messed it up today, I might as well just keep eating and start again tomorrow. Deprivation is not a long-term strategy. Great, you say, but what do I do instead? How do I lose weight and keep it off if I'm constantly eating ice cream? And here's where I'd like to tell you about a very special question that you can use to help you make better decisions around food. The question is so special, I call it the golden question. What is the golden question? It's, I can have this if I want to, but do I really need it right now? When you use this question, it will cut through the clutter of eating decisions and give you total clarity. Now there's two parts to the golden question. I can have this if I want to, which means no deprivation. You have the freedom to eat whatever type of food you want. But do I really need it right now? This is the proviso, because there has to be a proviso, otherwise you get craziness. Now, what does really need it right now mean? Let's look at an example. Imagine you're eating a dessert after a meal, and about 2/3 of the way through you feel full. What do? I can have this if I want to. Yes, you can have whatever you want. Eat it if you really want it. But then, do I really need it right now? But you're full. Do you really need it right now? You're not really eating it because you want it. You're eating it because it's there. There's many such examples of this sort of behavior, and the golden question shows you how to make better decisions in these circumstances without starving yourself. If you want to know more about the golden question and how to apply it in your life, I cover it in some detail in my free training course. You can find the link in the description below. Point 2, if it's not there. How can you remove temptation without missing out? Here's a line that you will want to remember and use it every day. It's very hard to eat food if it's not there. This means take control of your food environment. Think of this example. It's late at night, you're sitting on the sofa watching TV. You walk into the kitchen and see a cake, a chocolate cake, on the kitchen counter. What's your first thought? What's anyone's first thought? Hey, why don't I have some cake? Now let me ask you this. For most people, if the cake wasn't there, would you have thought, I need some cake? While sitting on the sofa, unless you're watching a baking show, how likely are you to think, I need to go to the supermarket and get some cake? For most people, probably not. Their decision was shaped by the fact that the cake was right in front of them. It's just because it was there. For many of us, a large proportion of our eating is just because it was there. And if it's not there, we won't miss it, we won't feel deprived, we won't feel starved. I say to clients, keeping it out of sight keeps it out of your stomach. Take control of your environment. Tip 3, make it easy. How do you stop losing weight being such an effort, a monumental struggle? How can you make it so that you don't have to put so much effort into controlling your eating? You know what the ideal is? The ideal is that you make it automatic. How do you make it automatic? One word, habits. What's a habit? It's a behavior that you do without thinking. It's automatic, it's effortless to do, and you do it over and over again consistently. What if the good eating decisions were automatic? What if they were habits? This is what you should be aiming for. Change your habits, change your life. From now on, when you think of losing weight, stop thinking of starving yourself and rabbit food, which is the mistake most people make, and start thinking of habits. Anything you need to do to lose weight, think, how can I make this a habit? Once it's a habit, it becomes ingrained and easy to do. If it's not a habit, then it's a struggle. Most diets are not cut out to be habits because they are unpleasant and depriving. I had a relative the other day tell me that they were going to cut out sugar for a month. They tried cutting out sugar before and they found it miserable and unsustainable. She hated every moment of it. So now she was going to try it again. But what had changed this time? Nothing. Nothing had changed. She was setting herself up for the same disaster again. Don't do things for a month that you wouldn't do for a decade. Don't do things for the short term. Do things that you can easily do for the long term and turn it into a habit. I ask clients every week in their session, was there anything you did last week that made you feel deprived? If they say yes, then I know that things have gone astray. At every step of your weight loss journey, you must feel good, undeprived, relaxed, like you could do this forever. That's how you lose weight and keep it off permanently. I'd love to know your experience with doing depriving weight loss plans. What happened? How did it go? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.